Hi there friends, it's Vicky. I'm at my terraced house. I came over here to finish pulling weeds today down by the last part of the hellstrip that I didn't get done last time, right down there. So I'm going to do that, but I was just wanting to show everybody how pretty these grasses have turned out right at the entrance of my stairs here. Those were completely chopped down to the ground in the spring, and this is what they're looking like right now. Now you can see that this one here has more, what do you call those? Foxtails or whatever than the other one, but I'm sure that'll balance out probably next year. This one does have some, they're just shorter down. They're still more like down in the plants, and it is a little bit smaller. So anyway, I just thought that that was really cool. And then we had a decent amount of rain last night, so things are kind of looking, I guess, wet and you know, lush, but also a little bit beaten down. But I'm just gonna do a quick little video here. I need to deadhead this hibiscus shrub, pull off those dead flowers. Still got, well, one pretty one. The cat's mitt is growing in well. The Russian sage up there is kind of flopping over. Still looks pretty good, but I don't know enough about Russian sage. Like, if I cut that back, would it bloom again? I'm not really sure. The black-eyed Susans are still looking pretty. My yarrow here is starting to rebloom. This was cut back, I don't know, maybe a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I'm not sure. But you can see the red in the front and the pink along the backside there. And then here's my blue sage. I can't remember, this has been cut back at least once. I want to say I've only cut that back once this season, so looks like it's, you know, it still looks pretty good. Like, maybe I could cut it back one more time. The lamb's ear hedge is looking good. I don't know if you guys remember, I had a gap down here. Right here, I planted one, so it's looking a little bit wilty, and that's because that was transplanted there just about a week ago. And luckily we have had rain, so it, you know, it's getting water. I also put in 3 small ones. There's one right there, and then one there and one there. And that was another place where either the ones I had planted in the spring just didn't make it, or I'm not really sure. But anyway, I'm filling in those gaps so that the entire border, you know, is full. This hibiscus here with the red flowers still has several blooms, although most of those are faded. Here's one pretty one. And then the sage looks great. This looks like a little shrub, but that's actually 3 different plants, and those I cut them back every year all the way down to the base, like in late winter. And I keep saying every year that I might not cut them back because I want to see what they look like when they bloom, and they never bloom for me, and I believe that's because I'm cutting them back in late winter. Whereas maybe what I should do is like this fall going into late winter, or sorry, fall going into early winter, if I cut that back down to the ground, I wonder if that would give it enough time to rebloom in spring, or if I just need to leave it alone. I'm not really sure. Oh, the catnip on this side is quite a bit taller than on the other side, but they were all planted at the same time. Up there on the 3rd terrace, there is a ton of grass and stuff. That's another thing that I'm planning to hopefully get cleaned up today. So we'll see if I get that far. If I do, and if it looks good, maybe I'll do like an after video, but I wasn't really sure. I'm not really sure exactly how much I'm going to get done today, so we'll just kind of see how far my motivation carries me. Here is my little purple flowering plants, the mystery plants. This is what its leaves look like. It's not a view that we get very often, so if that helps anybody to help me identify it. I'll take a picture of this too and put it on my plant ID group. I don't know if I've done that. I think I have and didn't get an answer, but I'll try again. I've got a white dahlia here pointing backwards. Love it when that happens. And then a whole nother clump here. I don't have any open blooms yet. I don't see any of the ones. See that stand of pink coneflower right there? Behind that, I have a whole row of staked dahlias, and I don't see any open flowers peeking out above. But when I get up there and start doing my pulling of all that grass and stuff, I will see if maybe there are some that are hiding or something. We've got some pink salvia right in front of us. And the goldenrod right there, that's not open yet, but that'll be yellow when it does. My cactus, sedums, sweet potato vine. These little ham elm grasses are blooming. And all of the orange milkweed that I planted last week. I don't know if you guys remember the day that I planted them, I said I don't have any water, so hopefully they make it. Well, I did come back like the next day and water these. So it's not that they've had no water. And then also we've gotten a good amount of rain. So I think that they will be fine. It's supposed to warm up this coming weekend. Temperatures into the low to mid 90s, but it's not supposed to last all that long. And then it's going to kind of cool back down into the 80s again. So basically good weather for these to continue establishing themselves. And I think that this will be a very successful, beautiful clump of orange milkweed next year. You can even see there's a couple little flowers in the back there. But next year, these should be 2 to 3 feet tall. I have them at my rental house and they're just adorable. I love them. So great plants if you don't have any orange milkweed. If you think you're not a fan of orange, I understand. I used to be in that boat. But paired with like hot pink and silvers and even yellows and things like that, I think it looks really beautiful. So here is my one Verona castrum plants, which is a white kind of, whatever you call these, spiky flowers. These are really pretty. I did read, I think I placed this poorly, because I did read that these get like 4 to 5 feet tall. And so this is only, I think it's second year, and it's about, I'd say 2.5 feet tall. I like it at this height, but I'm not sure I'm going to like it when it's 4 to 5 feet tall. And unfortunately they have a long taproot, I believe. Pretty sure I looked that up. And so it would be very difficult to transplant it. So I'll have to decide what to do with that in years to come. And this is the other end. It's about 11:30 a.m. So of course the 4 o'clocks are all closed. My plan this year of planting, what are they called? Nasturtiums, and having the nasturtiums grow up and through the 4 o'clocks. Unfortunately did not really work out well. Hardly any seem to have survived in this bed. And I did plant a ton of seeds in this bed. And then on this side, I had a few. Like, here's one, and here's one. And then there's a couple more there. They have like these little round leaves. You see those? Those are nasturtium leaves. But I think that we didn't have enough rain in the earlier part of the season, and since I don't have any running water here, I wasn't able to water it. And so I think that they were just kind of like stunted and they never really did that great. We have been getting a lot of rain for about the past month. And so I don't know, maybe they'll kind of kick in and we'll have like a late season show of the nasturtiums. But for some reason, you know, they just didn't have a high rate of success. And again, it might be the lack of rain earlier in the season. So I'm not sure if I'll do those again next year. I might go back to my original plan, which was to put something like Roseanne or some sort of tall geranium that will climb up and through my 4 o'clocks. Because what I was hoping was that the 4 o'clocks would be kind of like the scaffolding, and then the other plant would grow up and through it. And then since these close during the day, I wanted to have something that flowers during the day, and I thought those would pair well together. So I'll try it again next year. This year, I would say this was a fail. So I guess let's see what's going on upstairs. It's beautiful temperatures, probably like 70, which is crazy for like August 7th or whatever it is. But delightful for gardening. And since I came over here to pull weeds, it's really nice that it just rained because they should be easier to pull. So over here, I had already weeded this part and most of this part. You can see some over here that I didn't get, but I mean, they're not like tall. But down here, this is another thing I intend to do today, is to try to get all of this grass pulled out this area and this area, so that these beds look fairly tidy, within reason, I should say. So that's another thing I'll be working on today, as long as it doesn't start raining again. I'm thinking about moving these pink Veronicas to my work garden, because I just don't know how much of this area is going to get destroyed and stomped on by workers once the work actually starts. Someday it'll happen. Someday the work will start. It's only been a year, guys. That's reasonable, right? Totally normal. Let's go through the meadow garden, walking through the cosmos, onto the obedient plants. I need to cut down this thing, whatever that is. Got a butterfly milkweed patch over here. Oh, another thing, I need to also weed this area. That's something I want to do today. All of this grass that's grown into my meadow garden, hopefully it comes out quick and easy since the ground is nice and wet. But another thing I want to do is dig up some of this violet, this native violet that I have growing in here, because I want to transplant some of that to my work garden. I'm also thinking about digging up, I just saw a red robin. I have 2 or 3 of these native blue stems in my prairie garden here. And I was thinking about digging them up and breaking them into smaller pieces. And then I'll probably like replant some of them in here. But I also want to move some of that to my work garden, because I'm working on a pretty large kind of like, you know, prairie-like garden. So it'll be similar to this. It'll have the native plants like butterfly weed and native blue stem and stuff like that. Look how tall this one is. Jeez. It's kind of like up and, do you see it? It's flopping over, but it's pretty tall. So I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to get to work, and then I guess I'll do a little after video if I get a lot done. If I don't get a lot done and you don't see an after video on this, you can probably assume that it started raining on me, because it's still looks and feels like it might rain. So, to be continued, maybe. See, there's another little blue stem. Okay. Bye for now, guys. Okay, I'm back with a little update. So, here's what I did. I finished pulling all of the grass down at the end. I'll go down there and show you that here in a minute. But basically what happened was I had to stop because once I did that, I had filled the trash can. It's only about halfway full, but it has a lot of dirt that came up with the grass, and I didn't feel like breaking it off. And besides, the terrace down there, or the hellstrip I should say, was a little bit overfilled with dirt. So I didn't really care that I was pulling out some extra dirt. Anyway, the trash can became so heavy that I literally could barely move it. Like, it took me like 10 minutes to pull it from down there at the end where that shrub is and where the sidewalk changes color. That's where I had the trash can. It took me like 10 minutes to pull it over here. And when I was bringing it down, it dug into the terrace, or not the terrace, sorry, the hellstrip. So I brought it down here, and like the wheels dug in right there. It was so heavy. Anyway, hopefully the electric garbage truck things can pick it up. So anyway, though, I just want to tell you about a couple changes that I made to help me save money, and plus I think it'll look good. So this is a different kind of shrub that I had at the other house, at the rental house, and they weren't really working out over there, and so I decided to move them over here. They're called, I think they're called Sweet Spire, Little Henry or something like that. I'll try to put the name on the screen if I can find the exact type. But anyway, they are kind of similar to the aronia that I have in the rest of this hellstrip. But I decided to put one on either side of the grasses here so that they match. So I brought 2 of those over from the other house. And then I took the aronias, which were in those spots. So I got 2 aronias, and I moved them down here because if you remember, I was short some due to some of them just dying, and like there was some sort of work that was done right here with like the lines, gas line, I don't know. Anyway, whenever those people came and did that, some of my ground hydronias that I had already planted down here got killed because they dug them up, and then they just buried this all in new dirt. So they were kind of like, I don't know if they dug them up or they just buried them, but regardless, some of them died. So here's one that I found. Barely has any leaves or anything, but it's still kind of hanging on there, and I hope that now that I have it unburied and, you know, there's no grass and weeds around it, hopefully this one can spring back. But so basically what I did was I took the 2 ground hydronias that I moved from that end, and I replaced them with those Sweet Spires. And then I added down here because I had a gap. So where that one is the last one. And then I still need 2 more to fill this space. And then I put 1 more of those Sweet Spire shrubs from the other house down here to kind of be like a little end cap on this end. And then I have a piece of metal edging that I'm going to put right here, just like I did on the other end. And then I'll finish mulching this area right here. And then this project will be completely done. But this is all that I'm going to get done today. This took me longer than I was expecting it to finish pulling the rest of this grass. And then I drove back to the other house when I decided to get those Henry Sweet Spire things, because I just wanted to finish up this job. In fact, I was kind of hoping that it might be enough to fill in this space, but no, I'm going to need 2 more of the ground hydronias. So I'll pick those up here at some point and finish getting this mulched, and then the hellstrip project will officially be done. And I'm very excited about that. I will never have to mow down here again, which makes me so happy you don't even know. Here's the stairs that I used to have to drag my lawnmower up and down, you know, once a week or every other week, depending on how much rain and stuff we were getting. So all of those stairs up and down with the lawnmower just to mow this little strip. And I just hated it. And not only that, but the grass was ugly. It was weedy. I think this is going to look much prettier. When the ground huggeronia, it's going to take a few years, but this should spread out. And each one of these should get about 3 feet wide or so and just kind of start blending in together. And it stays short like this. So the Henry Sweet Spires will get a little bigger. I think they get to like 3 to 4 feet. So they'll be more similar in size to these grasses. But these little ground hug aronias, they should stay about that height and eventually fill in all of that space, and they'll help prevent erosion, and eventually I won't have to mulch anymore, and it's just going to be a very low maintenance and attractive health strip, I think. So I'm really happy with that. Again, last little view at the terrace garden today. How's this looking? I am off tomorrow as well. We do have some possible storms in the forecast for tomorrow. It looks like we are maybe on the edge of some major weather. So I don't really know if it's going to pass us by or if I'm going to get rained out. But if I have the opportunity to come back tomorrow, I want to get up and start pulling that grass up there in the areas that I showed you earlier in this video. And that is it. So let me get you a little pretty close up here before I end on the garden. And as usual, thank you guys for checking out my videos and keeping up with what's going on in my life and what I'm doing. It's nice to know that others are kind of following along in our little journey of, you know, making our home and garden into our dream space, because that's what this is for me. It's my dream home. So, all right, thanks again. Talk to you guys later. Bye.